Alright, so this movie technically is a 2024 movie. It had its limited release in December 2024. They do that for Oscar pushes, but in the US at least, it has its wide release this weekend. So let's talk about it. So Better Man is a biopic. I know, another musical biopic. We just had the Bob Dylan one. Now we have the one about Robbie Williams. Directed by Michael Gracie, this is a biopic about musical artist Robbie Williams, who wasn't as big in the US as he was in the UK, apparently. Like, I don't really know much about Robbie Williams or his music. I do know that song Millennium, though. Loved that song. But I only really know it because, yes, it played on the radio, but it was also on Now That's What I Call Music Too. Not also, too. Right there. It's a good track. Oh, I have all the CDs I've ever owned. Still listen to him. Hard copy snob, remember. But Robbie Williams is an ape in this movie. I wasn't really looking forward to this. It just looked to me like the musical biopic subgenre has become so formulaic. You have to do something crazy that stands out, like make the main artist the lead an ape. Reeks of desperation. All right, let's watch this, I guess. But wow. I really liked it. Not only is this the best motion capture chimp acting since Andy Serkis, but I kind of understand why Robbie Williams was made to be a chimp in this movie. Not just because Robbie Williams has said he's always seen himself as less evolved than other people, which to me made me go, okay, so Robbie Williams is co-signing this movie, so it's gonna be a fluff piece. And while like every musical biopic, I'm sure the lows were much shittier than shown on screen, I was impressed with how much, I don't want to say an asshole he was, but damaged. Also, warning, when I talk about what I liked about this movie, it's going to sound like, yeah, so it sounds like every musical biopic in the history of ever. It kind of is. But it's not about what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. You can say, yes, this is a musical biopic about his life. Or you can say, yes, this is a musical biopic about his life. Same phrase, different way of saying it. That is to say, this movie had an energy to it that I found engaging, that I really liked, that I connected with. Also, the musical numbers. I wouldn't call this movie a musical, but there are musical numbers in it. And I haven't always been this way, but at this point in my life, when it comes to musical numbers in a musical, I'm just like, oh, okay, let's... I like to think I don't hate musicals because every Disney animation I ever watched as a kid was a musical. And I love them. There's something about the modern musical that just feels different. Anytime someone's all woe is me, like, oh, the pain, I'm like, yeah. How about you just say it hurts and save me 5 minutes of musical time? But the musical sequences in this movie were kind of amazing. Great momentum, solid energy. They're the kind of musical sequences that would be entertaining even if the volume was muted. It doesn't just rely on the music, it recognizes that the music is half the fun. In that, given solid props to the editing and the effects, some of the transitions, especially in his downfall, his downward spiral, the way it transitioned from one location to the next, sometimes with a line of Coke, sometimes with a drink. Not just solid energy, time efficient. I appreciate that. I mean, the movie's still a little over 2 hours, but if you didn't have someone at the helm who recognized, hey, we can save time in transitioning in between these sequences and do it in an energetic way, movie might have been closer to 3. So I appreciate that. So I kind of see why making him a chimp makes sense for this movie, as every musical biopic has some level of fudgery, bullshit. Making the lead a chimp just makes you go, okay, so it's a little fantastical. I can just kind of roll with the moments that I'm sure are just not exactly how it went down. It helps you not take it so seriously. In the end, it's Robbie Williams' personality shining through the thing. Yeah, it oddly makes sense here. In a way, it's hard to describe. But to its core, I really dug the human story here. It's a story about fame, yes, but also how fame and money don't solve your problems. And that's the moment I warned you about when I said it was going to sound like every musical biopic I've talked about in the history of ever. But it's like the old adage, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't understand it. There's someone in this movie who describes the spotlight of fame like when you're in a restaurant and everyone in the restaurant sings happy birthday on your birthday and you just want that moment to end so you can enjoy eating your cake. It's probably the greatest and most accessible illustration of the spotlight of fame. Anyone watching this movie will understand what she's talking about. That's important in a movie like this. We've seen so many musical biopics or biopics about fame in which they fall into drugs and alcohol. It looks like a byproduct of the industry, but this movie, in a way, I haven't seen a lot of other biopics do it, illustrates why he falls into that. It shows his doubts, anxiety, depression. He has the voice in his head. You know the voice, that voice telling you how you're fucking up and you shouldn't even try. He has that. That's how we should all be living our lives. We should be living our lives with the goal to not become the voice in someone else's head. You don't want to be that. But to its core, it's a movie about forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiving the people around you, forgiving your parents for giving you that damage, but also accepting and forgiving yourself. I won't lie, I kind of had the man tears going in the end scene in this film. What can I say? It's a biopic that injects solid energy into the biopic subgenre.
For the next 2 hours, your ass is mine!
Takes what you know about a biopic, makes it more accessible, makes it more fun, which is odd to say because for a lot of this film, he's kind of spiraling down, but it's purposefully done because the movie knows that. It knows the subject matter, it knows the person, so it fits and mixes well, you know? It doesn't feel out of character. I thought having the lead be an ape was gonna be some gimmicky bullshit I was just gonna roll my eyes at. In the end, it was a solid cinematic start to 2025. This might be a bit over the top, but I feel like we're gonna have some good vibes here today. Better Man is awesome-tacular. All right, so Better Man, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.